the Apple computer. I tried to. What up, though, guys? It's your girl, Zsa Zsa. You're listening to I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. And I know you heard me the first time. What's percolating? Okay. Yes. There we go. There we go. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Now we in the business. Computer, I tried to. What up, though, guys? It's your girl, Zsa Zsa. You're listening to I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. And I know you heard me the first time.
Yeah. Let me tell y'all something.
What's percolating? Okay.
Today is Thankful Thursdays. And I am super duper duper excited and grateful. Let me tell y'all something, okay? It is Thankful Thursdays. It's your girl, Zsa Zsa. You're listening to I Said It. And listen, the enemy don't want you to be great when you're trying to be great out here in this world, okay? I'm trying to tell you, I was trying to get my little podcast together, trying to get all of this together. You get what I'm saying? And you always think every time that you have conquered a task, it's always something else that comes up. But God is good no matter what. If you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I am super duper grateful for each and every one of you. And I am just grateful because let me tell y'all something. It's Thursday. God woke us up this morning. We have the activities of our limbs. We are in our right mind. We ain't in nobody's jail. We ain't in nobody's hospital. And that is the blessed part. If you are tuning in again, you are listening to I Said It. I am your host, Zsa Zsa Hubbard. Okay, and before I take it back, y'all already know what I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna add more to it. Listen, I'm talking about get over it. Get over it. And I know you're probably thinking, get over what, Zsa Zsa? Get over it. Whatever it is, get over it. Because it's only going to hinder the manifestation of what it is that you ever want to do. And I think one of the biggest things that we oftentimes find ourselves having to get over is fear. Fear is one of the biggest things that we have to learn to get over, because if we don't, fear will overtake us and hinder us from doing everything it is that we want to do in life. Whether it's you want to get your license, whether you want to get a job, whether it's you want to be in a relationship, whether it's you want to put out an idea, whether it is, you want to manifest something in your life and in your world. Fear oftentimes paralyzes those opportunities for you to do those great things that you want to do in life. Listen, if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. We're talking all about get over it. One of the things that I want to say before I get started is thank you, everybody, for the birthday wishes. My birthday was absolutely amazing. It was blessed. It was everything that I needed it to be and more. And I'm super grateful for that. I am also super grateful for the opportunity to wish my sister Kanisha a happy birthday. As well as you all know, I am now a candidate for Detroit Public School Board Community District. And I am looking for your support on November 3rd, 2020. Get out and vote, not just for our next president, but get out and vote for me. As well as I just dropped a new book last week, and it is entitled Dear Carlin. And I would love for you all to pre-order that book. It is available on my website. You can go and pre-order that book right now, Dear Carlin, on my website, zsachubbard.com, to get that book. But if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. And I know you heard me the first time. We're talking about get over it. Now, this is the thing, right? God has not given us a spirit of fear, right? So if God didn't give us the spirit of fear, then where did the spirit of fear come from? Okay. That was my first question. Because I'm like, okay, if God didn't give us the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind, then where did the spirit of fear come from? The spirit of fear came from the enemy and ourselves. And so you have to understand, anytime that you are out here trying to do something great, fear is going to creep up. Okay. You have to, thank you so much for giving me a shout out. I appreciate that. At the end of the day, fear is one of the biggest things that will paralyze us. Okay.
False evidence appearing real is an acronym oftentimes used for fear. What you all have to understand is that fear is a thought process that we often have that is not even associated with anything. It's the thought process of something that has not even occurred yet, and we oftentimes are more focused in on the fear of a matter than we're focused in on what it is that we are trying to accomplish. Can you turn that down? Because I can't hear. That TV's on. Y'all need to turn that off. Yeah, I said it before I take it back. I'm add more to it. Listen, I'm still on auntie duty. Okay. And at the end of the day, you also have to understand that fear has caused one of the richest places in the world to be capitalized off of fear. The cemetery is full of people who were stunned by their fear, not able to grow, not able to go forward in life because they're afraid of what other people think. And fear can be paralyzing. It can stop you from meeting the love of your life. It'll stop you from accomplishing your goals and your dreams. It'll stop you from expounding on friendships and relationships because you are afraid. And fear will paralyze you. Fear of being in the shadows of your friends and family or loved ones that may have been more successful than you are. And here it is, you don't want to move forward because you're thinking, oh man, if I do this, what is people going to think? Or if I do that, let me tell you something. One of the things that I have come to understand and learn in life is that fear will always be there. You know, whenever I go out and I speak and I go talk, I sweat religiously under my underarms, right? Like I literally sweat religiously. Like my underarms turn into a puddle. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm sweating so bad. Why am I sweating so bad? And I stick my arms under my hands and I smell it and I do this. Y'all remember that movie, Superstar? Anyway, if you tuned it in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It. Before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm talking all about get over it. Because if you don't get over the fear now, you are going to be living with bricks of fear on your shoulders every time it's time for you to launch something in your life because you are going to be afraid of being judged. And let me tell you something. I love this Black Lives Matter movement, but I want us to really understand how important it is about our lives mattering. It's not just a matter of our day-to-day living and life and breathing air through our lungs that makes our lives matter. It is the fact that we are looking to support one another, build one another, lift each other up as we go through these struggles and the trajectories of our lives so that we can impart wisdom in one another and take each other to the next level. I'm going to tell you something about our Caucasian brothers and sisters, okay? Karen and Melissa, they may not like each other, but you better believe 100% that Karen is going to make sure that Melissa gets in place before Shaniqua. Okay? Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. White folks, Korean folks, Chaldean folks, they may not like each other. Okay? Let's get this clear. They may not like each other, but they will stick together before they let a Tyrone come in, okay? And if they do let a Tyrone, a Shamika, a Tawanda, a whoever, a Zsa Zsa come into play, they will make sure that they look out for one another before they will look out for us. Not only that, but if they do decide to put us in a leading role, it's only to benefit their culture, their goals, what it is that they're doing. We cannot allow fear to continue to paralyze us because if we do, what we will do is we will hinder our growth as a people. There are so many great things that each and every one of you all have to offer, not only to your families, to the community, to the city in which you live, the state in which you reside, the country in which you come from. There are so many ideas that you have, but because of fear and because you fear what people say, people may say no, people may not like it, let me tell you something. We fear the outcome. We're not even thinking about
the ramifications of how great it's going to be for us if we step out on our goals. If we just say, you know what? I'm not going to focus on what nobody else think. I'm not going to focus on what nobody else talking about. I am going to focus and zoom in on what it is that I desire at this moment. And I'm going to be faithful to that very thing and consistent. Because fear paralyzes us, it causes us to not be committed. See, when you are committed to your goals and what it is that you're trying to do, you are tunnel vision. I talked about that last week. About being tunnel vision and being so focused in on what it is that you're doing that you're not worried about to the left and to the right of you because you got that tunnel vision. And see, the thing about fear, and if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, make sure you share this video. Make sure you share this post. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. We're talking about get over it. See, one of the things that we have to understand is that when you are fearing your next move, you are oftentimes listening to a voice that is not attached to where God is leading you. See, fear is the enemy's camp. And if the enemy can get you to fear what it is that you're proposing, he can get you to stop doing what it is that you're doing. No matter what whoever your enemy is, whether it be your mama, your spouse, your lover, your friend, your kids, fear can be crippling to people when they don't know what the outcome is going to be. See, when you know you put peanut butter on one side of the bread and you put jelly on the other side of the bread, you know that it's going to make a sandwich. You just know it. So you don't have to worry about what the outcome is going to be because you know from past experiences that this is what this is going to make. It's going to make a PB&J sandwich. It's going to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But you also have to understand that when you decide, I don't know what this tuna and cucumber sandwich is going to be like. I'm going to try it. But the fear of, will I like it? Will I not like it? That's the part where we have to grab a hold to and say, no matter what the outcome will be, at least I tried it. See, that is the difference between the 3% billionaires of the world and the people that's broke. Because guess what? They didn't allow fear to cripple them from moving on to the next direction and dimension in life. And see, the thing about it is that growing up as a kid, my mom, she used to say stuff like, if y'all don't sit down, I'm going to whoop you. And that would put the fear in us as kids because you like, I don't want no whooping. I don't want to be on punishment. I don't want to get in no trouble. So because I don't want no whoopings and because I don't want to be on punishment, I'm going to chill out. I'm going to relax and chill. I'm not about to sit up here and get in no type of trouble because the fear that was placed in you as a kid, you don't want no whooping. You don't want no belt on your behind. And see, I'm a little old school. When I grew up, they was whooping you with stitching cords, wire hangers, like Mommy Dearest, and catching you outside that tub or getting that switch out that bush. And didn't nobody want no whooping with no switch. We didn't want no whooping from our grandma. You get what I'm saying? So we ain't want no problems. So because we ain't want no problems, we made sure that we stayed focused and stayed out the way. Same thing with fear. When you stay focused and stay out the way, you don't have time to entertain nobody else's opinions other than yours. See, I've gotten to a point where I've learned the difference between being fearful and being scared. See, being fearful says, I don't know what's going to happen if I do this. Being scared says, I am afraid to do this and I don't think that I should do it. Fear says, I want to do it, but I don't know what's going to happen as a result of me doing this. Scare says, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. Something crazy is going to happen. Fear and scare are two different worlds, but they combine as one. See, a lot of us, we think that we are scared, but we're really fearful. False evidence appearing real. And if the enemy is the father of fear and God is the leader of power, love, and of sound mind, that is the ultimate recipe of saying you have something great inside of you that's going to manifest to something even bigger. You just have to stay focused on that goal. See, one of the things that I've learned when it came to fear versus being scared is scared is just a tactic used for you to cripple and become paralyzed at the very things that you want to do. We become scared of the dark. You're not scared of the dark. You fear what you cannot see. You don't know what the outcome is on the other side of the darkness. And it's just the same thing when you are manifesting ideas, relationships, when you're going back to school. You have so many adults that fear, oh, I'm going to be judged because I'm older and I decide I want to go back to school. That's a fear that you can't even be focused on what nobody else thinks about what it is that you're doing. You got to focus on you. See, one of the things that I have come to learn is that there is a place in life where you learn false evidence appearing real. And at the end of the day, you come to the conclusion that I'm graduating from other people's opinions. Other people's opinions of me do not dictate who I am and what it is that I'm doing. Many times people are so, what I like to use the word confuzzled, and that's confused and puzzled from people having an opinion of them. I've come to the place that you're going to live with other people's opinions every day. Somebody's going to have an opinion about you every single day. Every day that you wake up, you can put on the jazziest clothes. You can have the sharpest haircut. Somebody is going to have an opinion of what it is that you do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter today, tomorrow, or any other day. When you learn that you have graduated from other people's opinions, you don't mind what anybody has to say. Because, again, one of the things that I've learned is that everybody is entitled to an opinion. Everybody is entitled to say how they feel, whether they like it or don't like it, whether they feel that it is to their liking, whether it feels that it's trendy, whether if they feel that they have been coerced into something, or they feel like, whatever the case may be, other people are going to have an opinion. That is the beauty in understanding people. When you learn to have your degree in people, you learn that it is a beautiful thing to understand the power of a person and their opinion. You understand the power and what it is that they want to manifest and what it is that they are trying to do in another person's life. If you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It. And before I take it back, y'all already know I'm going to add more to it. And I know you heard me the first time. Listen, we're talking all about get over it, okay? Because ain't nobody got time. I ain't got time. You ain't got time. Ain't nobody got time, okay? Nobody. And I'm telling you, don't nobody got time for none of that. If you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. And I know you heard me the first time. Listen, at the end of the day, when you're dealing with fear and getting over fear, you want it to be God's will in your life. A lot of times we did so many things on our own merit because we wanted them. We wanted the relationship that we wanted. We wanted the merchandise that we wanted. We wanted the friendships that we wanted. And sometimes it didn't pan out the way that we wanted because it wasn't God's will for us. Sometimes there are certain relationships that God will not allow to manifest or grow or matriculate into something better or bigger because it is not God's will. I am so in love with the fact that I want to do things the way God wants me to do them because I want to do them right.
A lot of times we do things because we want to do them and how we want to operate. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, make sure you follow me on Facebook. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. You know Zsa Zsa because you do. At the end of the day, when you're getting over your fear, you understand that God is in the midst of that. Because if God gave us love, power, and of a sound mind, that means that he's given us the tools. The sound mind is where all of our ideas come from. They come from the creative being of our brains. And then the power, that is the strength to operate and manifest and make those things come into fruition. And then of love. When you are manifesting the things that you want to do in life, you got the sound mind, you got the power. Listen, you operate in love. All it does is vibrate you to a higher level and a higher dimension. And at the end of the day, you learn to maneuver through life and get things done. But at the end of the day, you also have to understand, let the chips fall where they may. See, when I learned that it's not my will, but God's will, and the chips fall where they may, I don't have to worry about what another person thinks or what another person is doing, because no matter the outcome, no matter what happens, it's always going to work in my favor. Always. See, the thing about people dealing with fear is you're worrying about the outcome, the result of a matter. When you put it in God's hands, you have the faith and the reassurance that no matter how this situation pans out, right? No matter how the outcome happens, how the results happen, you are going to be okay because you know that God is working those things out on your behalf. See, I had such a big issue because I like to control things. And if you're anything like me, you have a strategy, you have, an organization, you have a thought process, you have a way that you operate. And so because you operate on a certain level and in a certain dimension, you understand how important it is to be strategic. And sometimes those plans that you strategize don't always happen the way that you want them to. So when the chips fall as they may, you don't worry about, okay, is this the perfect thing? Is this the perfect place? Are these the perfect people? Because you have learned that the chips are falling where they may. And then you understand that how life has prepared you for what it is that you are manifesting and what it is that you're doing in life. Listen, one of the things that I know for sure, two things for certain is that God has prepared me for such a time as this. As a kid, I didn't realize being an MC for, after church activities and doing my little short talks at church and my little speeches, that it was going to prepare me for a time as this. See, sometimes when you sit back and you think about it, you'll think he was preparing you all along, all while you were trucking through life, all while you were going through whatever it is that you were going through, all of those outcomes, good and bad. Because sometimes we think, oh, why is this happening to me? I used to have a season in my life where I used to ask God, why? Why couldn't my parents be rich? Why couldn't I be white? Why couldn't I live on this side of 8 Mile? Why couldn't this happen? Why couldn't I go to Cranbrook and not just for the summer and be a part of these particular groups and these particular organizations growing up? And it wasn't because God didn't want me to be in the midst of those things. It was because God wanted to prepare me for such a time as this. Sometimes when you don't have a story, and I remember sitting in Oakland County Jail with these bougie broads, you hear me? I mean, they had everything from Farmington Hills to West Bloomfield to all the little Oakland County cities. And I remember sitting in there with these women and the crimes that they had committed. One lady, she had drove her Porsche
in the little lake within her little subdivision, and she had got arrested. And I remember her saying, "Oh my God, I'm gonna miss my nail appointment." And I had an appointment with Macy's, and they were supposed to come and do a shipment. And I'm sitting there just looking at her like, you have no idea what so many women and men are dealing with, that are not only sitting within these four walls, but within our communities, because Pontiac is right up the street and there are tons of low-income families. And here you are complaining about missing a nail appointment because you decided that you wanted to do some foolishness. And now you're in here with the rest of us. And see, if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. We're talking about get over it. There are so many people who have minor fears. See, wealthy people or people who are affluent or more established, they fear being poor. Poor people fear what they going to do for dinner, for breakfast, how they going to feed their kids, how they going to get their kids to school, how they going to deal with teaching their kids virtually in an abusive home because school was their safe haven. They fear, how I'm going to get gas money, or I hope my unemployment is extended, or those are fears of so many families and so many mothers and fathers who are trying to maintain their families in a household, because at the end of the day, certain fears are legitimate, but God has not given us a spirit of fear. So if fear is a spirit and is not something that God gave us, then it is something that we can overcome. See, one of the things that we have to learn is that fear is something that is obtainable to overcome, because it hinders us, you and I, from being our best selves. When we understand that we're doing God's will, let the chips fall where they may, and we understand that we are prepared for what God has us, there is no reason for us to fear. Fear is the opposite of faith. If you're fearing something, then you don't have faith in it. See, you got to learn to have faith in that thing. When you learn to have faith in that thing, the outcome will continue to surprise you. There were times where I feared how I was going to evolve from a situation. I didn't understand what was going to be the end result. And because I didn't understand the end result, despite people telling me, go ahead, you should do it, you should do this, you should go ahead, Zsa, you qualified, girl, you got this, you got that, you can do it. But the fear of the matter was crippling. It was paralyzing. It was causing me to think and be outside my character. And because of that, it oftentimes put me back when we could have been so much further. But because of fear and because of our thought process, we end up being in the back of the line. See, if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. We're talking about get over it. Get over it. And you know what that it is? That it is fear. When God has prepared you for this, you have to understand to differentiate between God's voice, your voice, and the enemy's voice. There are three voices going in your head. That's why, when I think about mental illness and I think about, the health of our people in our community, it is extremely real. It is extremely, very, very real when it comes to the people in our community, because there is voices going on in your head. And if you got more than three voices going on in your head, you are already in trouble, because you're going to hear God's voice, your voice, and the enemy's voice. And depending on who you are listening to more, that's the voice that's going to lead you. A lot of the people that are suffering from mental illness, they have allowed the enemy's voice to be a lot louder than the voice of God and the voice of themselves. See, I remember watching my brother deal with mental illness. And I remember one time he was saying, somebody telling me to write. I remember one time he was in the basement and he took a red marker. I never forget this day as long as I live. And he took that marker and he was writing on the walls, just writing stuff. And I was like, well, what are you writing? And he said, well, the enemy is telling me to write these things. And I said, well, what is the enemy? Because at this point, God is not giving me the spirit of fear. So I want to speak that enemy out of your life and out of your mind, because that is a demonic spirit. And he was saying that the enemy was telling him to just write this stuff. And that's where fear comes in at. Fear will allow the enemy to speak louder. You can't do it. That don't look right. You don't look nice. He don't love you. She don't love you. Don't nobody like you. That's the enemy's voice talking louder. But when God's voice is talking, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You are great. You are amazing. You are above and not beneath. You are the head and not the tail. Listen, when you start learning, and that's why it's so important to speak life to yourself. That's why it's called self-esteem. When you learn that fear is just false evidence appearing real, and it is a thought, because see, everything starts as a thought, an idea, an invention, a manifestation. Everything starts with an idea. When I was sitting there thinking about my book, Dear Carlin, which you can order on my platform, you can order it right now. It's Zsa Zsa Hubbard. Pre-order my book, Dear Carlin. I feared, okay, nobody's gonna pre-order, nobody's gonna like my book, and oh my gosh, and they're gonna think, oh, she's doing this and she's doing that. But every person that is sought out to be great, everything came from an idea. Everything came from a thought. Everything came from, what am I gonna do about this idea that's circling in my head? And if I sat here and allowed fear to cripple me, then I wouldn't be where I am today. And the blessing of that matter is that I'm going to be a lot further, just like you are. You have to learn to silence that voice of fear, because if you don't, it'll keep paralyzing you. Like I said at the beginning of this podcast. And make sure you share this page. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. If you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It. And before I take it back, y'all already know I'm going to add more to it. And I know you heard me the first time, because at the end of the day, fear is nothing but a thought. And if you allow your thoughts, your negative thoughts, to be bigger than your positive thoughts, then you'll always run into an issue or a situation. Listen, if you want to support my candidacy as a DPSCD candidate for Detroit Public School Board, log into my website, www.zsasihubbard.com, and you can donate. Listen, every penny counts. I ain't turning nothing down but my collar. Holla. Okay, as Jewel Jones say, holla, stay rep. Listen, at the end of the day, we have to understand that we got to get over it. Whatever that it is for you that is hindering you from being and doing the best things in life, from accomplishing your goals, you are going to have to learn to toughen up. See, one of the things that I've learned is that there is no validity. There's no truth to fear. Fear will have you unfocused. Fear will have you thinking about things that don't even exist. Fear will have you logged in to a whole situation. What if this happened? What if that happened? And I've learned to quiet down, meditate on my thoughts, and I've learned to pluck out and pull out the ones that are suitable for the manifestation and where it is that I'm trying to go. If I'm listening to a fearful thought, then I have already conceded to fear. And I've already let the enemy win. And what we cannot afford to do in this season is allow the enemy to win. Because at the end of the day, the enemy has already tried to take us all out. You hear me? Okay? Because COVID is out here roaming the streets like nobody's business. And at the end of the day, we got to make sure that we are not only protecting ourselves physically, but we're protecting ourselves mentally. Because mentally, everything starts in the mind, as of what you're going to wear, what you're going to do, where you're going to go, who you're going to be around, where you're going to be at. And listen, if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm talking about get over it. And at the end of the day, learn to be able to handle the truth.
See, a lot of us, we entertain lies and we lie because we can't handle the truth. I remember that one movie, I can't think of the name of it, but it's a extremely popular scene, and it says, "You can't handle the truth." And the thing about it is that is a real statement. Some of us, we want the truth so bad, but we can't handle it. We can't handle the truth, the criticism, the critique, the controversy. At the end of the day, if you decide that you want to manifest to be great in life, you are going to have to deal with some unprecedented truths. And sometimes those truths don't feel good. I remember one time I was sitting next to my mama and she was like, "You musty." And I was like, "I'm musty?" She was like, "Yeah, you don't smell yourself." And I was just like that hurt. Like, dang, Mom, you just go. She's like, "Well, wouldn't you rather me tell you than you be out here and some man tell you, or your friend tell you, or somebody be around you and start talking about you?" And the thing about it is, as I said to myself, that's the truth. Would I have rather heard it from my mama than heard it from a perfect stranger? And I think that is where we have to understand the difference between when somebody is telling you something for your good and for the betterment of yourself, opposed to you thinking that somebody is always out to get you or being a hater. Now, there's a big distinctive difference between somebody sharing a truth with you and somebody being a hater of you. See, somebody speaking the truth of you is to help you become better. When somebody is being a hater, it comes out of a place of bitterness. It comes out of a place of, I don't want to see you win, or I don't want to see you do better. So I want to put this in your mind because I want to talk you out of whatever greatness that you are becoming. And see, that's where fear sets in, because now we are operating in somebody else's opinion. Let me tell you something. I graduated from OPO a long time ago. Other people's opinions, okay? Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Because you have to learn in this life that a person or people will always have opinions. And the thing about opinions is it allows you to develop armadillo skin. See, one of the things that as soft as I am, I have learned that life will either cause your skin to become thickened, or it will cause your heart to become hardened. Life has a way of causing either you to have thick skin to deal with the ramifications and the lies and the pitfalls of life, or it'll cause your heart to harden because you're devastated and you are heartbroken and you are flustered and frustrated, and you don't understand how certain things are happening or why certain things are happening, and it becomes an issue for you to move forward in life. And at the end of the day, there are so many people who don't have armadillo skin. You say something to them, they about to cry. They easily offended. I know a young lady right now. She mad at me because she said I yelled at her a year ago at a meeting because of something that she failed to do. Now you mad at me from a year ago at a meeting for something you failed to do. So because you mad at me from a year ago at something you failed to do, now you got an attitude and we can't work together. You got to toughen up. See, there are people in this world that are passive. There are people that are passive aggressive. And then there are people that are aggressive. And so you have to learn to decipher between how you're going to deal with certain people. Because there are people in this world, you yell at them, they cry. "Oh, she yelled at me. She said this to me. I didn't like her tone when she said it." See, when you in business, an entrepreneur, you in leadership, a leadership role, we don't have time to be in our feelings about stuff. We're trying to get stuff done.
And see, if you're around a person, that's why I like Sean P. Diddy Combs, because in order for you to be successful, you cannot get caught up in, well, I didn't like what they said to me and how they said it. It was their tone. Let's get the job done. You know, I worked in retail and customer service and sales and in a management position. And I've always been conscientious of my tone and how I speak because I'm very boisterous and I have a very direct voice. And so because I have a very direct voice, some people can take offense to me being direct, but it's not me being mean or anything like that. It's just that my voice is assertive. And so I've learned when I work with certain people, when you learn the capacity of a person and what they can deal with, you learn who can take it and who can't. And so I had the privilege and honor of working with some amazing people who understood when it was crunch time, let's get it done, Zsa Zsa, and when it was playtime, and you know, it was very light in the environment, in the atmosphere. And so because of that, and because I got that and I understood that, they understood it. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm talking all about get over it. Because listen, in order for you to move on to the next dimension in life, you are going to have to learn to get over some things. And not only get over it, but at the end of the day, the reality is, you're the only one that's holding you back from whatever it is that you want to do. Listen, there comes a place in time where you can't blame your spouse, your children, your job, your friends, your family. It's you. Fear of getting back out there and trying to lose weight. Fear of going back to school and accomplishing your goals. Fear of having a baby at your age, fear of owning a home, fear of stepping out on faith, fear. You are holding you back. You are the only person that is going to stop you from being the you that you want to be. You. That's it. And when you come to that conclusion that you're the only person that's stopping you, you learn that I'm not going to listen to that little fear voice. You're going to listen to God's voice, your own voice. And sometimes you got to quiet your own voice and say, shut up. I don't know where you came from or what you're talking about, but I'm going to do this. It's going to get done. And you learn to start listening to that voice and not the voice of what other people want you to say or what other people want you to feel or how other people want you to be or how other people feel like this is the perfect path for you. You know, I tell my son all the time, you know, as you matriculate, you're getting ready to go off to college. And I know that could be something scary because you know, as a kid, you say, oh, I can't wait to get out of my mama's house. I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to do that. But as you get older, now it's really getting ready to happen. And it causes anxiety. It causes fear. That's why you have to be mindful of the voices that you listen to and understand that the only obstruction in your life can be you. And if there are other obstructions that are causing a hindrance in your life, you need to remove them. I am detaching myself, not attaching, detaching myself from anything or anyone that hinders my growth. I don't care how long I know you. I don't care where I know you from. I don't care if we got the same blood running through our veins or the same last name. I'm not going to allow anything or anyone to hinder my growth because I know that God has given me a purpose and a desire and a will to do a particular task in this world. And once my time is up and God calls me home, I want him to say, good and well done, my faithful servant. Not depart from me because you ain't did what you supposed to do. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody talking about some depart from me. I want him to be like, come on, girlfriend. Come on up and through here. Because the thing about it is that life is not a dress rehearsal. It's not like a play where you have the opportunity to rehearse and rehearse and rehearse and rehearse until you have memorized it and got it right, and then it's showtime. Every day that God puts breath in your body is showtime. Every day that He allows you to live and maneuver through life is showtime. Every time that you get up and you wake up and God says, wake up, it's go time. Your stage is life. And you get up and you maneuver through that stage. And you get up and you get into action. And the people in your lives are your co-stars. That's why you got to be careful of who you allow in this life. Because if you're not mindful and if you're not careful, you'll have co-stars in your life that are not meant to fulfill their roles. See, when people win academies and Emmys, they win it for best actor, best supporting role. And if you're not mindful, somebody will be in that position that is not qualified. That's why you got to cut ties with people who aren't qualified for the task. I can't be your supporting actress in your life's trilogy or your life's play or part and not fulfill my duty to support you. Same way for me. You can't be in my life and say you support me, but you're not fulfilling that role. And see, a lot of people want the role, the title, but they don't want the task. A lot of people want the title, but they don't want the task. And see, one of the things that I've learned in life is that in order for you to get the title, you also have to be able to accomplish the task. Don't no man want no woman that can't satisfy him not only in the bedroom, but in the boardroom. You got to be able to live up to the task. See, everybody want to be a wife, but you don't want to live up to your wifely duties and due diligence. Everybody want a husband, but you got to make sure that you the man that can live up to the title of what it means to be a husband. You can't be tripping about not being able to take out the trash or protect and provide and do all the things that as a man or husband is supposed to do. See, a lot of us want the title without the task. See, I laugh at women who say they want to be a mama and they ready for kids. And I think to myself, okay, you got to be careful what you ask for, because a lot of us are not mindful of the very things that we so desire that requires more of us. As a parent, as a mother, as a parent, as a father, being a parent, listen, let me tell you something. That is one of the most challenging titles, jobs that ever could be. Because at the end of the day, it allows you to reflect on not only what your mama and daddy taught you, but now what it is that you're trying to teach. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm gonna add more to it. We're talking all about get over it, getting over that fear. False evidence appearing real is an acronym that is often used to describe fear. But at the end of the day, there are so many parents or so many people who don't have children or want to be married or want to be in a relationship, and they are fearful or they are apprehensive or they're ready to dive right on in. But you have to understand that you are not in control of the outcomes and the results of certain things happening. That's why you got to get over it. You got to get over your own opinion of yourself. You got to get over other people's opinions of yourself. And at the end of the day, you got to not allow people to waste your time. See, we go get wasted and just forget all about time because we in the moment having a good old merry old time. But at the end of the day, we don't get that time back. I can think about when I was 14. Would I love to go back? Absolutely. There are a lot of things that I wish I would do, could do differently. But time doesn't change. Time changes. And at the end of the day, because time changes, you can't allow time to be wasted. You sitting around fearing what other people think and what other people are going to say and how you feel about the matter, you're going to mess yourself up. It's already about to be September. And you've been sitting on an idea, an invention for 4, 5 years, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And then you get upset because other people are manifesting things that you have been sitting on for years because of fear. I'm going to tell you something. If you are fearful of losing, that is a part of the game. That is a part of the game. I don't think any player on any team sits around and thinks, oh, I'm going to win every game. There are coaches and players who understand that I could potentially lose this game. There are people in relationships who play games and they know I could potentially lose this amazing woman or this amazing man in my life. But because we understand that losses are a part of wins, because when you lose, you learn what you didn't do right. You learn how you can do certain things better. You learn how you can manifest in certain situations and make those situations better. You learn how to operate in a winning season. But if all you ever want to do is win, you're going to come into a real sad conclusion, because losing is a part of the winning strategy. You are never going to start off with a winning strategy until you learn to lose, because losing allows you to see those blind spots. Have you ever been driving in a car and you about to get over? Oh, snap, it's a car right there. You didn't see them because they were in your blind spot. And so you have these mirrors and you got to turn around to make sure you don't see something in your blind spot. When you lose in life, it is allowing you to see the blind spots in your areas that you may not even see that you got to cover. When you lose in relationships, it's not a bad thing. It's just that you have to learn, okay, why did I lose in this relationship? And you take what you lost, you learn, and you move on. See, life is not a dress rehearsal. It's the real deal. And when you learn that it's the real deal, you learn to live with purpose. See, I'm not out here just willy-nilly posting on live, posting pictures. Everything I do with a purpose. When I maneuver in life, I maneuver with a purpose. And see, unfortunately, there are a lot of people out here who don't know who they are, who don't have a purpose, who don't have a desire or a will to do certain things. And so they will cause you to have fear in your life because they are fearful. Don't allow another person's opinion of what you're supposed to be doing in life to be bigger than your opinion of yourself. And when you learn to do that, you will learn an amazing thing. Listen, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. And I know you heard me the first time. Listen, y'all already know what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add more to it. Listen, make sure you follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You know Zsa Zsa because you do. Listen, at the end of the day, I just put out a book. Listen, you can pre-order it right now, Dear Carlin. It is an amazing book. It's the journey of healthy communities and learning how to have a family of empowerment. Listen, in order for us to have these healthy communities in which we want to see, we are going to have to learn to rebuild the family dynamics. And our families have to be strong. And I think this is one of the reasons why God has taken us back. He is rewinding the time. He is allowing us to go back. Listen, homeschool, okay, is an old school thing. And it allows parents to be parents. Get on their jobs. Listen, I ain't hating on you parents, but listen, these teachers, these staff, these students, they need you to be active. It is not up to the teacher to do and be all for your child. Listen, it's gonna take some time and it's gonna take some adjustments. I get it, but at the end of the day, God is good and He's gonna give you the strength you need to take care of them crumb snatchers. Okay, listen, go to www.zsachubbard.com to donate to the candidacy for Zsa Zsa C. Hubbard running for DPSC D school board on November 3rd. Make sure you get out here and you go and vote. Okay, take your souls to the polls, because at the end of the day, the only thing that I am focused on in life is people who are adding to my life and not subtracting from it, unless they are subtracting things that I don't need. I'm only interested in people that are ready to multiply in my life and not divide. Because in order for us to be great in life, you have to learn to not only divide and conquer, but you have to learn to divide yourself from people that don't mean you no good. And when you learn to differentiate people who add to your life, people who multiply to your life, it is easy to differentiate and identify people who subtract from your life, who divide and create division in your life. Because at the end of the day, life is not a dress rehearsal. This is the real deal. Every day that God wakes us up, he is allowing us to do greater things that we have done in the past. And let me tell you something. Last week, I told y'all that I kept hearing the word patience. Like, it was like everywhere I went, somebody was talking about patience. What I will say is that everything takes time. Everything takes time. I used to bake cakes with my grandma Liz, RIP to my grandma Liz, my grandma Carol, my G code. We used to bake cakes, and she used to let me lick the bowl and the spoon with the icing and the cake batter. I was so in a rush to get that cake because I wanted the cake so bad. I wanted to eat the cake. It was so delicious. I was so ready for that cake. But what you didn't understand is that with all the ingredients, everything being mixed up in a bowl, it doesn't automatically make it a cake. It had to bake. And God knows it felt like we were waiting forever for that oven to bake that cake. And then on top of baking the cake, we had to wait for the cake to cool off to add the icing. It seemed like forever we were trying to eat this piece of cake. But one of the most joyfulest things that I could ever imagine was sitting there after icing the cake, after watching it bake, cutting that slice, and being able to enjoy it. Listen, all great things take time. You are listening to Yeah, I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Listen, I want you to learn to get over that fear. Listen, get over it, okay? Don't allow fear to cripple whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish in life. Remember, fear is false evidence appearing real. It ain't real, and you have to learn to listen to not only your thoughts of you, but God's thoughts of you. And God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Listen, you are tuning in to Yeah, I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Listen, y'all already know what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add more to it. Listen, follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. You know Zsa Zsa because you know you do. Make sure you pre-order the book, Dear Carlin. It is available on my website at zsachubbard.com. If you would like to order the book, if you would like to donate, listen, I need all the support and help I can get. If you love me, you will support me. And if you hate me, you still going to support me anyway. Yeah, I said it. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Listen, I love y'all. I want y'all to have a great day. I have to go. We getting ready to do this promo video. Shout out to Derek Dollar Jones, okay, of Red Wire MMG Entertainment. He is supporting me. And shout out to my little nieces, Samaya, and my nephew, DJ, and Carter, and Braylon, and my son, Tayshawn, for helping me throughout this transition this week. Listen, y'all, we having some good old time. I got some behind the scenes footage for y'all. Yeah, I said it. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'll see y'all next week. Peace. You